Welcome back to Mechanical Pros. I'm back here with Bill, and we're talking about flue gas and boiler vent pipe. Bill, tell me what we got going on today.
Well, what we've got over the years, the boiler vents have changed with the different types of boilers that they have now. And we have 4 different types of boiler vent categories.
Okay.
The first category is the oldest category. It is the old conventional style of the atmospheric type boilers. And that just means that all the combustion air is coming from the room into an open combustion chamber beneath the boilers, and then it mixes with the gas there in that area, and then it goes the flue gas out. And as the fire is making the air hotter, it's rising, and so it's just what we call a natural draft. And it's very simple, and it works very well when everything's like it should be. And that's our category 1 type of boiler vent. And the material that we use is usually B-vent, which is 2 pieces of pipe together, an inner pipe and an outer pipe with an air space in between.
Okay.
And that is so that it doesn't get too hot.
So it's double wall.
It's double wall B-vent. And that's usually what we use with the old style open combustion atmospheric type boilers. That's what we used to do when I started. That's about the only thing that was there. Then people got a little more energy conscious.
Yeah.
And they decided that in the springtime and in the fall time that they didn't need to have the water as hot to heat their buildings.
Mm-hmm.
But that created a problem. And that problem was called condensation. And so we started having condensing in the boiler stack, and the condensing gas would turn to liquid, and that was very acidic, and it would attack the venting materials, and it would also attack the heat exchangers and the combustion chamber also. It would just eat them up. The class 2 or the category 2 boilers are classified as a negative pressure condensing boiler, whereas the number 1 is the negative pressure non-condensing. So it's a natural draft, and as you're heating up your flue gases, they're going to escape on out through the roof. The condensing happens when you use a low temperature and get down below your 160, 140 degrees entering water temperature.
Entering, not leaving.
Entering water temperature less than 140 will cause it to start to condense. The other thing that has happened over the years, everybody was trying to come up with a more economical way of installing things, and they were looking at different materials. We had the B-vent, which is a relatively inexpensive material. The condensing boilers took a stainless steel material to take care of the acidic conditions, and it got more expensive. They looked for some other materials, and they could use some PVC if they used direct air inlets. If they were bringing air in, not from the room, but from outside, they could use PVC. And so what happened, they put in there that you could use PVC, and so folks sometimes decide, well, let's use PVC for something else. But you can't use the PVC for the vent. You can use it for the air intake. The boiler manufacturers would put in their literature that you could use PVC, didn't distinguish how they could do it. But the pipe manufacturers have a disclaimer that you cannot use PVC on boiler vent. That's where you have to watch out and be careful in installations to make sure that you have the proper materials.
Because there's a temperature point, and there's a safety factor there.
Yes.
You can get that PVC, just standard PVC, too hot. It can melt. You can create an environment where it can be dangerous because you melt that stack, which is meant to get that exhaust out of the room. But if that PVC has melted, you're keeping it inside a room, and then all of a sudden you have a catastrophic environment.
It's very, very dangerous on that. Also, there's several different types of plastics. Most of the times they'll use a CPVC. Sometimes they'll use a PVC Schedule 40. They have one that's called a form core that you cannot use because it's not solid pipe. It's got a form core in it, and it will melt. So you got to be real careful on what you're doing and knowing what materials that you should use on that. in that condition. On the Category 2 duct, this is the stainless steel double wall, and it is an AL29-4C is the classification of that. It is double wall. It is 304 stainless inner pipe, and it has a 3/16 cover on the thing, so that it looks nice.
Okay.
And that's what we use on the venting in the Category 2 for the low temp.
That AL29-4C, is that just for the anti-corrosive?
That's what. Yeah, it's a special compound of the stainless, which will stand up to that acidity.
Yeah, exactly.
And this also has rubber joints so that you have a good seal, because it's going to have water inside of it, and so that water is going to be coming back to the low point, and so we have a collector for the water to take it and neutralize it and take it to drain. So the installation needs to be critical on being able to have fall for the vent to allow the water to get back to an outfall to drain. The only problem I've seen with this is if the joints aren't lubricated when they install those, that rubber seal can roll, and now you don't have a solid joint and you get a leak.
You roll it out of that.
You roll it out of the groove.
Seat,
it has a groove on the inside, and it will roll it out. The one disadvantage of this material is that it can't be cut in the field. They overcome that by having adjustable pieces so that you can get the right lengths. It looks good when it's installed, and it works very well.
Yeah. No, this is a great hydraulic premium product.
Both 1 and 2 are for negative pressures, which is more of a natural draft. On the condensing boilers, most of those do have a fan that helps to bring the air into the combustion chamber. They have what's called a closed combustion chamber, so that we're bringing in outside air to fuel the fire in the unit. But both those 1 and 2 are negative pressure. 1 is non-condensing, and 2 is condensing. When we move to the next category of Category 3 and Category 4, they're both positive pressure. So we have a little bit different joint for those. It is still stainless steel. You can get it either in a single wall or a double wall, just depending on the application. It comes with 3/16 piping or 304 piping, and you can get the outer skin at either 304 or 3/16, depending on whether it's going to be seen or not.
Yeah.
No sense in having a 3/16 real pretty finish on a piece of pipe if it's not being seen.
So the difference between 3/16 and 304, 3/16's got a little more, it's more resistant to corrosion. Right. So are we worried about the corrosion aspects of it? So the 3/16 is purely aesthetic.
3/16 is because it's shiny. It just looks better.
It just looks shiny.
Just looks shiny.
Gotcha.
and looks good.
Yeah.
The Category 3 is classified as a non-condensing boiler because of the temperature of your water, but it could condense if they change the water temperature. And then on your Category 4, it is your positive with the condensing factor in it, because it's usually low temp. They have come out with some new plastic materials for the condensing boilers. That is not the PVC, it's a polypropylene.
Okay.
And it is designed for that, and that's a new product that's out now. The good thing about it is that it can be cut in the field for joints, whereas on all the stainless steel piping, it cannot be cut, so you need to have some adjustable pieces built into your system in order to install that.
So the polypropylene gives you some more flexibility in the field.
A little more flexibility, and there's a lot of heaters now. They're coming out now with some water heaters that are tankless water heaters, and they have smaller pipe, and it is plastic pipe that they're designed for, and that's what this new piping is for.
When would you go double wall or single wall for a vent pipe?
We use our single wall pipe when you are in an area where you don't have the possibility of people being around it to be burned. You can put that in the ceiling space if you wanted to, and if it was exposed. I wouldn't put it where it was concealed, but I would put it where you could put it where it was exposed. Mainly it's just for safety, so that people don't get around it and get burned on the thing. And that's for all of it. They also have insulated duct on our vent piping, where that you can get either 1, 2, or 3 inches of insulation inside, depending on the temperature of the flue gas.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we talk about flue gases, there's several things that we use that on. Of course, we have it on our boilers for our hot water. Where we've used it a lot with the insulation in it is on electric generators that are diesel powered.
Mm-hmm.
So it's it's an engine, so it's engine exhaust, and that gets hot.
Right.
And that's always double walled, and it's insulated usually on that, and that's for the protection. Also, we use this on kitchen hoods, where they're over a cooktop, and also for grease duct, if they have grease duct, so that they do that. So the double wall though is mainly safety factor on temperature, and because the temperature of this stuff can get up to 1,000 degrees or so,
mm-hmm.
depending on what the application is.
Yeah.
So you need to be careful with that. We were talking about on the Category 4 material, which is a lot of the condensing boilers that we're using in the heating, and we're using the smaller ones, and that's where we can use this polypropylene pipe now. And that's the newest thing out on the market. It also has a rubber joint seal inside. Mm-hmm. It has a lubricant, can be cut. That's the beauty of this. It can be cut in the field, and it comes in several different lengths so that you don't have any waste, because if you do cut it, whatever you cut off, it is wasted.
Yeah.
Because it has a hub end and a spigot end.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only thing you need to be careful of that when you're purchasing, is to make sure that you have the right lengths that you want for the way it's going to be laid out.
And this polypropylene vent pipe, it's a UL 1738, mm-hmm. and so it is designed for higher temperatures than your standard PVC.
It is.
Right.
This is the PVC. We say PVC. PVC is kind of like Coke when you say Coke and you say PVC, but it's a polypropylene plastic, and it does take the higher temperatures, and it is designed for this type of application.
Great. So, and I'm assuming we would use this for any kind of a high efficiency condensing boiler or furnace.
Yes.
Yep.
And like I say, right now, what this is really hot on is on the tankless water heaters. Mm-hmm. And it is in smaller pipes. And it comes 2-inch up through 12-inch. It's just like everything else, John, things change. And so the industry changes with the needs, and everybody's trying to come up with a better mousetrap. And so we're right in there with them, trying to make sure that we're on top of all the newest things that are coming out, being able to help our customers to install all the products the proper way so that they can have good service for their customers.
Absolutely. So there is some risk in vent pipe of how you do it. It's just important because the goal of the vent is to get a toxin out of the building. And if that doesn't happen, there's always a risk associated with that. When we get the more multifamily situations where we're building multifamily high rises and hotels, you see more and more, especially when each individual unit has maybe a hot water heater or a furnace to it. We see these more and more with the combined laundries and hospitals and hotels, where we're taking that laundry exhaust and trying to get it out. Manufacturers have provided a UL rated, tested and engineered product that reduce the risk for a lot of developers, and that's a feature and a benefit of providing an engineered vent system with your new development.
Each product has its own characteristics for that application. Like I say, we have a negative pressure for 1 and 2, positive pressure on 3 and 4, and they have different joints to make sure that you do that. Biggest thing is that you want to make sure that the vent gases stay in the pipe until they go out into atmosphere, so that you don't have a problem within the building for safety of all your occupants.
Yeah. So when you're doing a vent takeoff, Bill, what type of work do you put into that?
First, you look at your routing, see what you have to go around so you can have the proper fittings to make it work. The other thing that's very, very critical is the length that you have to go. If you go too far, based on the manufacturer's equipment, you may have a fan assist, because as this flue gas leaves the appliance, as it gets further out, it's going to cool down. It can get cool enough that it doesn't move. So sometimes we need a fan assist to get that on out. And sometimes the fan will push and sometimes the fan will pull. It just depends on what the application is. But it can do either one. You can have a fan that will push the flue gas out, or you can have one on the very top of the roof that will pull it out. But that's based on what your length of your vent piping is. The other thing you talked about on multiple appliances, it's very, very critical to have the engineered system when you have multiple appliances, and all the piping has to be compatible. You can't have mixed piping when you have multiple pieces. They all have to have the same pipe system so that they can be connected properly. And you also have increases in sizes as you add fixtures and appliances to it.
And your boiler inspector is going to care about that.
The boiler inspector is going to care about that. The other thing is that's another critical thing is you've got to have some barometric dampers so that when something is not running, that you don't have the flue gas going in the wrong direction. It's got to be going out. So you have some barometric and backdraft dampers in your system so that it can draw like it should, because that's the natural way for it to vent, is that as it heats up and that air expands, it's going to rise. So it goes through your vent system and out through the roof or out through a side wall. So big thing with the venting, we got to get the venting out safely so that all your occupants are as safe as they can be within the building.
Yeah, that's great, Bill. Any takeaways when you remember about vent pipe?
Need to understand which category that you're working with as far as your appliance. The big thing, is it negative pressure or is it positive pressure? And because there is a difference in the two pipe systems in the way that they're joined. So if there's anything that we can help them with, they can sure give us a call.
Absolutely.
And we'd be glad to help them with anything on the venting systems.
I'd say the vent stack is part of the system. It's how the whole boiler or whatever we're operating, it is part of the complete system. You got to have your combustion air come in, you got to have your exhaust leave, and that's part of making everything work. If you're not getting one of those things, your system's not going to work.
Well, when they set it up, they've got to have an air gas mixture for it to operate properly.
That's right.
And without that, it's not going to vent properly either. So it's very critical to have all the things done for startup and all the systems checked to have everything correct.
Thanks, Bill. Great to be with you. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, check us out on Mechanical Pros, and we'll check out next time.